So for the last month, I realized that the combination between having a daily planning, writing down successes, and to read is so powerful. And going from a weak teenager who lacks motivation because he didn't do anything, feels like a failure because he didn't do anything in the morning, to someone who built long-lasting habits, this felt life-changing for me. So for the last 30 days, I did the daily planning, writing down daily wins, and read 5 pages every day. In this video, I will explain every of those 3 habits, what lessons it taught me, and why the rule of 3 is so important for your growth. So, let's dive in. So the first one I did was that I started with making a daily planning for myself. And if you aren't really a planned person like me, you will get a hate or love relationship with it. But yeah, I definitely got benefits from doing a daily planning every day. So what you have to do is that you write down the things you have to do, the tasks you have to do in a notebook. And I got this notebook from a store close by. I think I paid around €4 for it. So it isn't really that expensive at all. And what I like to do, besides writing down my tasks, is on the end using a green marker to check off my daily habits, which I did that day. It's like a very easy way how you can plan your day. So I prefer to do it in an analog version because I think it is like very simple and it doesn't really take subscriptions. And it's easier because you didn't really distract yourself from the website you're on and stuff like that. So I prefer to do it in an analog, physical notebook. I think it will definitely help you. So I was trying to make a daily planning for myself before, but it didn't really work out. And that was because I did all the daily plannings online. And I think online for a lot of people, it's really a disadvantage of, making a daily planning. Because for me, I totally forgot to make my own daily planning. So I also forgot to write down the things I had to do that day, which also, had the result of not doing everything I intended to do that day. So an analog, a physical one can really make a difference for you. So what I've learned from using a daily planner for 30 days every day is that writing it down on paper increases the chance that you remember that you're having those tasks. So for example, when I'm just walking in my house and I see the table where I put like my notebook open, I see still the habits I have to do that day or the tasks I have to do that day. So what I also learned in the book Atomic Habits is that you have to make visible and obvious. So this is a way how you can do that. And the last thing I've learned is that using a green marker, checking off every task, complete every task is so satisfying. And it also, in one way, it gives me motivation to also check off the other habits. So it's very satisfying and gives me motivation and drive to also do the other habits as well. So the second thing I did was that I start with writing down daily accomplishments, but I will rather call them daily wins. In this fast-paced world, I felt that the things I did was never enough based on what society thought of me. And even when things went well, I was always thinking about ways how I could improve, but it was never enough. So the result of that was that I wasn't really taking time to be grateful about the things which are already going well in my life. It was always focusing on improving, it's not good enough, and this didn't really give me a positive mindset. But what if you are going to stop for a moment, you watching this video, and think about the things, what do you appreciate in life? What are the things you already accomplished? Who are you grateful for? Or what are you grateful for? What already happened in your life? Or what happened today? What are the small wins in your life? And I write those things down in this book. And same as the notebook, doesn't really cost that much. So I'm just writing down different things which are going well in my life. I'm writing down things which I accomplish where I'm proud of. But I'm also writing down people, friends, family who I'm grateful for. And it's important to think about the now, right now. What are the things which makes a difference for you today? It can also be the nature. If you're like, I don't know, like walking in the nature and think like, I appreciate that I can walk in the nature. Maybe that's something for you. Who are your best friends? Are they supporting you? Or maybe the achievement you had last time. It can also be small things. Don't really think like about all the big things you have achieved, but also the small things. Which are the small things which make you a better person? Maybe it's like brushing your teeth every morning. Or what I normally say, teething your brush. But yeah, these are things which you can think about. So for me, I think the biggest lesson I learned was that even on bad days, I could think about writing down things I was grateful for. Maybe it wasn't really a bad day, because I could still think about things what went well in my life. And writing down wins gives you also motivation to start your day and gives you drive to doing the things you have to do, because it brings you in a positive mood. So the last habit I did for the last 30 days every day was that I start reading self-improvement books. 5 pages every day. Whoop whoop. But when I look back at my life, I was never really a fan of reading. I didn't really believe that reading was good for me as well, because my view of reading came from my school, and I was reading books I didn't really like to read, I was reading all those subjects you have in school, which you're not really passionate about. But there's a big chance between books you have to read versus books you want to read. But yeah, later on, when I was older, in my student years, 5 years ago or something, I also had kind of fear of judgment to start with reading, I was living in a student house and not everyone was really reading in that house. So for me, like what I created in my own mind, in my own head, was that reading is stupid, But that was because I was scared of what my other roommates were thinking about me. And on the other hand, I was thinking that audiobooks really work for me, so I don't really have to read myself. But for me, audiobooks are not really working, because when I'm walking in the nature, when I'm walking outside, and I'm listening to an audiobook, it is so hard to concentrate what someone is saying. So unconsciously, you think you remember it, but you don't really remember it. So it's more a form of entertainment. But that's how I see it. It doesn't have to be for you. So in the last 5 months, I think I already read around 3 full books. So I read The Way of the Superior Man from David Didan. I'm almost finished now with Atomic Habits by James Clear. I also made a start with YouTube Secrets from Sean Cannell. And I also read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. But how can you start with reading when you have the feeling that reading is not really something for you? I think I also talked with it with some friends, and they also have a hard time with reading. And the last time what I said to them was that you have to make it completely small. And that's the same with habits, trying to make it so small that's almost stupid to do. So when I started with reading books, I started with reading 1 page every day. I'm serious, 1 page. That's like 1 minute work or something, So this was a good foundation how I could continue with building a habit of reading. So now I'm reading 5 pages, and I think for me 5 pages is enough, because I'm also doing other habits as well, and I want to have a good balance between all those habits. So what I've learned from reading 5 pages every day for 30 days is that having an accountability partner can really make a difference for you to build a habit of reading. So I'm doing that as well, and the benefit is that you keep each other accountable. So for us, we read the same amount of pages every day. We have a goal on the end of the week, what pages we have to read. So normally it's around 35, sometimes 40. And then we ask each other questions about the pages we have read. And I think the benefit from having an accountability partner is that keeping yourself accountable, it's so easy to, go into excuses like I cannot do it. But when someone else sees that you're not really doing the habits, it feels very painful when someone sees that you are not really doing what you have promised yourself, So for me, an accountability partner can definitely make a difference, and I think for you as well. So the other things I've learned with reading is that it gives me a boost in my self-esteem, self-confidence, because of the lessons I am learning in those books. So these lessons can help you to overcome challenges in your life. So for me, also reading gives me a zen moment. So it gives me time to relax, but it also gives me inspiration of things maybe for my videos, or motivation to do things differently, which I did before. It's the same with the book I'm reading now with Atomic Habits. It gave me so much lessons about how I should do my habits instead of how I did it before. Like what I said before, in the morning when I didn't do any shit and I felt shit because I didn't do anything. Now I found ways how I can build long-lasting habits. So these three habits together, is it really a perfect combination? Yes, it is. And that has to do something with a positive feedback loop. So documenting wins from your daily tasks and also start reading gives you a sense of achievement. And this motivates you to also do the other things as well. Starting with the daily planning and also already checking off things gives you a really positive mood. And when you're also, already having a positive mood, it's also easier to do other things as well, which also includes the daily winning. And daily winning also gives me, a positive mood, motivation and drive. So it's easier to read as well. So this reinforces a sense of achievement, motivates you to continue with your planning, and it really engages in productive activities as well. So these three together shape a good foundation of the start of your day to fall in that positive feedback loop where it's easier to do other habits as well. And building new positive habits, I already said it, will boost your self-esteem, motivation, drive, and to focus on the things you really want to do. So, are you going to try out these 3 habits yourself for the last 30 days? But it's cost effective, it's a very powerful tool, and it can really make a difference on your mood, your mental health for the rest of your life. So, this was the video of today. Don't forget that everything starts with you. I appreciate you watching this video, and I hope to see you soon. Ciao!